those businesses that you talked about. Is that happening, Phil? So how does it all work? Magnifying glass or helicopter. One of the problems we have in planning is that sometimes you've got to be down there with a magnifying glass, looking at one of those 10,000 decisions that you've got to make in your business. Sometimes you need some sort of a helicopter view, which gives you that very big strategic directional sort of stuff. There is no wrong or right. That's just from time to time you need to be going from helicopter to microscope or magnifying glass and back again. So during this course we will have some very helicopter view planning, and we'll have some very micro, you know, when we come to naming your business, that's really micro. You know, we've got to be right down there with nuts and bolts. But what we're talking about tonight in terms of the elevator pitch is it's a helicopter view. This is our first chance to sort of craft a big overview of what we do, a big overview vision of what we're doing. So a business needs these sorts of things. You know, it needs customers. No business survives without them. But the trouble is, no customer is sitting around waiting for you to open. I've opened 30 different businesses, and I don't know yet once where they camped outside the door waiting for me to open. You know where they were while they were waiting for me to open? Across the road being looked after with coffee and sandwiches. This is one of our problems, that they're actually already okay. They're actually, maybe you've got something a little bit special, but they're actually not starving. They're actually okay. That's a problem. That's a problem. How do we get them across the road? We need resources, but resources aren't shared that easily. You know, it was my partner, in my first business, when I was learning. Boy, I was learning fast. Had to, because it was, you know, it was all happening. But you know, he says he made a sale. He didn't make a sale because it was only 50 cents. He said, it's only 50 cents, don't worry about it, you know. That's all the sale was. I was a bit upset because for me, we needed every 50 cents. I said, oh, okay. So I went in the till and I grabbed a 50-cent coin and I just threw it out on the street. I said, it's okay, it's only 50 cents. Anyway, let's get on with it. And he followed that out and got that 50 cents and followed back. But he said exactly the same thing a few minutes earlier. He said, oh, it's only a 50-cent sale. But when you translate that into real coins, it's amazing. You know, you can't go saying no to that. I don't know how that worked out. Resources are not easily shared, you know. Money and all this sort of stuff, which is what we need, it's not easily shared. Most people hold those dollars very tightly. You know, when you ask for $1, there's 2 fingers on the other side, aren't they? You know, very hard to prize them out. Partners, you need partners. You know, you're not going anywhere in this business without partners. Believe me, you know, your workshop partners. You know, you need to have people that are going to work in with you. But the trouble is, they don't know. I don't know whether they trust you yet because you haven't really established yourself. I don't know whether they believe what you believe yet because you haven't really made a statement about what you believe. And you need networks. Boy, do you need networks. Boy, is this world that you're in right now, it's a networked world. The Industrial Revolution created bureaucratic organizations, big bureaucratic, global, big players. That's now giving way now from a bureaucratic sort of type of organization to networks. And Phil was saying on ABC last night, kids with 4 million people in their networks. And I asked before when we started this class, who's got LinkedIn with 500 people in their network? You know, weren't many hands going up, were there? You know, tell you the truth, that is, you know, 101. You know, they talk about the most basic thing that you should be doing if you're serious about starting a business. Where's your LinkedIn profile with 500 people? Luckily, I have one, and Phil has one, so we can talk with authority. But, you know, that's a really important thing. That's networks. You've got to have them. And the trouble is we're not connected. We haven't spent time really connecting those networks. So there's a problem, and the problem that none of those things are connecting is because people are too busy to care. There's too many other cares to be able to, you know, they've got their own problems, and that's an interesting thought that everyone's suffering, you know. It's an important thing to realise in that shopping centre. No one's doing it easy. Every person is suffering in some way. But anyway, they've got plenty of cares. Why would they be caring about you just because you want to open a business to make all this money? Engagement costs. If they're going to engage with you, they know it's going to have some emotional cost to it. You know, it's something to put people off. New challenges. People like the same. You know, you'd be surprised how many people will just keep to their habits because That's what they're familiar with. They're comfortable with it. And here you come with this new thing and a newfangled and so much more improvement, but it's new, and people aren't ready for new. People don't take to change very easily. And they've got a bias towards the known. People have got this bias towards what they know. And here you are wanting to start a business. So this is painting a pretty bleak picture, isn't it? So one way we overcome this is to have that ability to be able to engage people. Remember, that have the why story ready to go. And that's what I'm saying, you know, if someone says, oh, you say you're going into business, yeah, I'm wanting to make a fortune for myself. Like, you know, that story, how is that going to attract anyone? How many people are going to say, oh, really? Can I be part of that? Can I give you some money? You know, what they want you to say is somebody that's going to benefit them, somebody that's going to drag them in, somebody that wants them to say, oh, really? How can I be part? Oh, that's fantastic. How can I benefit from this? You know, you've got to drag people in. And so the way we do that, or one way we do that, is coming up with an elevator pitch. So an elevator pitch is really the time it takes to go from down there in the basement when you hop in, someone hops in with you and say, hey, what are you up to? You've got 30 seconds from there to level 4 to explain to them what you do, and have them, before they finish, say, oh, I need to know more about that. Or how can I be involved with that? Oh, that sounds fantastic. How can I be a part of that? We need to start attracting people. We need to start attracting resources. We need to start becoming an evangelist for our idea, for our opportunity. We need to get the excitement going so people want to be part of what we're doing. And like I say, they're not going to be part of a story that says, oh, I'm doing it because I want to live, you know, in a rich house. Yeah, good luck. See you later. Elevator pitches, you need them for each audience. You know, sometimes depending on who you're talking to, you need a different sort of elevator pitch. But again, it's this. It's a well-crafted, personal 30-second TV spot. If you could get just 30 seconds to explain something that would win someone over, how would you go about putting it together? And tonight we're going to have a go at doing that. It's got to be simple to grasp. At the end of the day, when you've said it, people understand quickly what it is you're about. And it prompts the question, how does that work? Or you might got to tell me more. I want to. You must tell me more about that. I'd really like to be part of that sort of idea. That sounds like something that could really benefit me, or something that I'd be really interested in supporting or partnering or being involved with. So it's got to be a compelling story. And the one we're going to do tonight might not be the compelling story, but it's a start. It gets us starting to think about these pitches that we've got to get good at. We've got to get good at, when people ask us something, that we're able to pitch in a way that attracts their resource, that attracts their attention, their capability, their skills. So we've often got to write it and revise it. Sometimes you've got to test it out loud. Sometimes you've got to get in the, you know, when the shower's on and the doors, instead of doing the singing, try your elevator pitch. Comprehensive and engaging. These are the sorts of things you want to do. It's got to be authentic. It's got to be you. At the end of, you know, today it's going to be a manufactured one. It's going to come across like that. But the idea is to turn that manufacturing into something that really is you. That does tell your story, and it tells the why to a large extent of your story. Be brief, and above all, be ready. So when people ask you, what are you doing? Looking at a few ideas, you know, I'm not real sure at the moment, you know. Well, you've just missed the opportunity to probably attract someone that could have opened up a whole area for you, you know. You need to be there every time you get the chance, you know. People are sick and tired of me doing this, but every time I see someone, it's a chance to sell them something, you know. It's a chance to sell them on my idea, to actually get them to commit to what I'm trying to do. And if you don't like that, I've got others. That was Groucho Marx, wasn't it? He says, what did he say? They're my values, and if you don't like them, I have a few others. I feel a bit like that. If you don't like that business idea, I've got a few others. Maybe I can find you. I'm trying to attract resources. You know, that's what entrepreneurial mindset is doing all the time. Is, if you don't mind me saying, I say, how can I use you? That's actually what I say when I meet you. Isn't that terrible? But that's how we work. Obviously, when I'm saying how can I use you, I can say how can you benefit from my relationship, and how can I benefit from yours? You know, that's what you're thinking all the time. And a lot of that's got to do with because I'm thinking in this elevator pitch all the time. And it is that first impression. It's the first impression people have of your opportunity, because you want their best wishes, you want their resources if possible, you want their partnership if possible, you want their goodwill where they go and tell things about it. So it's made up. These are the components of it. It starts off with the broad market. What market is the business in? Identify the broad market, not the narrow one, the broad one. So this is, you know, insurance, hair care, furniture. What is it what's the broad market you're in? So all of these A, B, C, D, E's we're going to put together at the end. Once we've answered all these, we'll put together in a statement. So this is a bit paint by what? Elevator pitch by numbers. Here we go. Who does this business exist for? What's the big picture? What's the big target customer? Now, at this point, I don't need you to say, oh, it's people on skateboards with beanies. We don't want to be down at that level. Sorry, Dicko. And we want it for, is it for individuals? Mike was talking before, he does it for businesses. So is it small to medium businesses? Not really. You do it merely for corporate enterprises. That's sort of, if you could pick a target, that's sort of what you're looking for. Government departments, government agencies. So that's all we're looking for at this stage, just a big picture. Remember, this is our first craft of a big picture story. And then later on, as we go through the course, we drill down to much more specific microscopic things. What's the problem? What's this group's problem? This group's problem is that they need to get some decorations up to be part of the season, but they don't want to have to go and engage their staff and go through all the hassles. You know, that's Mike's story there. So it's all of those. Now, it's okay, don't panic. I've got all of those on a worksheet so you can get them. Where they can no longer afford something. They're tired of something. They want safer something. They need better performing. They desire for a better looking. They need a more comfortable. You know, these are the sorts of problems that they've got. Have a look at those and find out the one that best suits your idea tonight. Just what's the key product and service that you're offering? What is the key product and service? Christmas trees. You know, that's the key product and service. That's a very easy one to identify. We just need it. That's D. You'll see how this all comes together at the end. How do the target users benefit? What's in it for them? Identify the tangible and intangible or underlying benefit. And this subjective or underlying or intangible benefit we'll talk about as we go through the course. But this is where we go to get those margins. We don't get our margins necessarily from commodity type products. Very hard to get margins out of milk and bread, can we? We need to find products that we can get really good margins out of it, and that's because we sell these sorts of things. We sell fear mitigation. Lawyers do it all day long. We sell raised self-esteem. Now this sounds really weird. How do you do that? There is a way of doing that. There's a way of building this into your product that gets you margins. Increased confidence. You know, to a large extent, that's what I'm selling you guys. I'm selling you guys that at the end of this course, you're going to have confidence. You're going to have, I've increased your confidence. For some of you, increase your confidence never to start a business ever again. For some people, that's the value add. For others, it's increased confidence that I know what I need to do now to start a business, and I'm going to start working on it. Improve status, giving meaning, meet urgency, provide pain relief, grant indulgence. So there's a few different sorts of intangibles in there that we need to be looking at. And our idea, what we're doing is better than, it's better than other options. There's other options people could do, but what we're doing is better than. It's better than existing offers who don't do something or are very expensive, are unsafe, not attractive, outdated, hard to access, difficult to use. So we need to make that very clear point about what we're doing that's quite different to existing offers. And then finally, we are the what? We are the Rolex of whatever that is. Thanks. Which is a status thing, you know. Rolex is to a large extent a status. That's what I used to know in Chinatown. I used to have a cafe in Chinatown. And the restaurateurs would come in and they would be, you know, dirty old T-shirt, dirty old pants or whatever like that. And then they'd put their hand out to pay you and there's a diamond encrusted Rolex on the wrist. And you think to yourself, this guy's really well off. But they don't let that on. They don't let you know that. But they can't hide the Rolex that's sitting there because it's a status thing. We're the Mercedes-Benz of lawnmowers, there you go, which because they're reliable quality. Or we're McDonald's of sandwiches, where we're the fast and convenient service of that product. So we need to come up with that at the end. And I've got 15 minutes to get you going. Here's my shot at Jim's mowing. Not a terribly good one, but this is how it all comes together. You remember those A, B, C, D, E, F, G? This is how you stick it all together. So this is an elevator pitch that I can use coming up from, we've got in at B, we push B, we push level 4, and I've got 30 seconds to tell you what I'm doing. This is in paint by numbers. We specialise in providing lawn care services for individuals who are time poor. That's their problem. Our mowing and gardening services help individuals to maintain their house-proud status. That's a lot of why people want their lawn mown, because they don't want the neighbours to think we have this overgrown jungle here. Unlike the overgrown mess that could easily happen due to being time poor. If I don't do this, I'm going to look ugly thing. We are the Blue Nurse of lawn care. So we're the people that turn up every week to care for your place. So that's my take on Jim's mowing. You don't have to take that, but that's the paint by numbers. Now that's, like I say, that's a bit corny, and that's where we have to start. We have to start by putting together the components, and then in time the idea is to refine that until you've got yourself a pitch that when people say, what are you doing, you don't go, oh, I'm just trying a few things, doing a bit of Christmas tree stuff, you know, like it's not that sort of stuff. You've actually got something that when you pitch it, you might actually pick up a franchisee. You might actually pick up, a guy says, actually, I supply those. I buy them from China really cheap. I can supply you those. Or, hey, we would love to have that. We've got an office downtown. We've always wanted. You know, every person you meet is a chance to make your business work. So why waste it on just stumbling around with, oh, you know, I'm trying a few ideas. Why not pitch them? Why not give them a shot and see what you can secure? So we're doing our friends again. We're doing our friends again. So this is a group activity 3. Let's get back into our groups. You've got 15 minutes to get this done. You can't go unless you've done this. Unless Carly, you've got to get a phone.